Hello students, today I am going to discuss with you a very important lesson, that is electric current from physical science subject. So why this lesson is very important? Because students, this lesson is used in not only the exam point of view, but also it has been used, it has been asked in your future subjects, future education, future degrees also. Okay students, so let us say if you are taken electrical science, electrical as your field, as your background, or electronics and communication as your background, this lesson is going to be very much important, students. So let me start here by giving you the complete lesson explanation here. This video will be on complete lesson explanation, so please have patience and listen to the class very sincerely and seriously. Okay, so now let me start with the first theory of the lesson here, Drude-Lorentz theory. What this Drude-Lorentz theory says that there is a conductor. In the conductor there will be a positively charged and negatively charged. So this conductor like metals, this they contain positively charged or negatively charged. So the positively charged will be always fixed, okay, but the negatively charged will be moving throughout the conductor in a random direction. Okay, so they will be moving randomly throughout the conductor, but the positively charged will be fixed. They will be called as lattice. Okay, so this was told by the Drude and Lorentz. Okay, so now what happens when the electron starts moving in the random direction? So let me take it as here a small cross section area. Okay, so when I take a small cross section area here, so at this cross section area, the number of electrons passing from the left to right and the number of electrons passing from the right to left will be equal. Okay, so what I said once again, students, so number of electrons passing from the left to right will be equal to the number of electrons passing from the right to left, left to right and right to left. So what I can say here, students, that means the net charge, what it will be the net charge? It will be equal to 0. Okay students, so this is the case when the conductor is having the free electrons, right? Now if I want to make these electrons to move, or if you want to make these electrons to do something work here, so I need to connect this conductor with a battery. Okay, in this diagram. So now I connected this conductor with a small battery here. Okay, when I connect this conductor with a battery, what is happening here? So this battery is providing some energy to these electrons, and this electron starts moving in one direction. Okay, so they start moving in the one single direction, that is they become unidirectional. So they move in a unidirectional way. Okay, so now these electrons, when they are moving in a unidirectional, they start moving in the one single direction, and when I connect a bulb here, so this bulb starts glowing. Now students, why it happens that if I just switch on this, if I just connect a battery, switch on the switch, so how does this bulb starts glowing instantly? Okay, immediately bulb glows. Okay, so what is happening here? So students, whenever I connect a battery here to the conductor, there will be an electric field produced across the conductor. Okay, so this electric field provides energy to the electrons, and these electrons starts moving towards a direction, towards one single direction, and these free electrons, flow free electrons, is nothing but the current. Okay, so now the direction of current will be the opposite of the direction of the electrons. Fine. So now just keep in mind the direction of current will be opposite to the direction of the flow of electrons. Okay, so now the question arises here, when I just switch on the current or power supply, so when I just switch on the power supply, why does the bulb light up immediately? Okay, why does it light up immediately? Why? So why does this bulb light up immediately? It doesn't take a little bit of time, seconds, within seconds it lights up immediately. The reason here is, as soon as the battery is connected, or as soon as the electricity is connected with the bulb, and when you switch on it, then this conductor, see now conductor means the wires only, copper wires only, students. Okay, conductor, across this conductor, immediately the electric field will be produced. This electric field will provide the energy to these electrons, and these electrons will move immediately towards this bulb, and this bulb containing this tungsten, this tungsten get heated and it emits light. Okay, that means my chemical energy coming from the battery is being converting into the electrical energy, and then it's converted to the light energy here. So simply I can say here electric energy is being converted to the light energy, right? Now next situation here, the next situation here is, as you know that in conductor there are positively charged here, but the problem with positive charges are they are fixed here. So when they are fixed, that means they are not moving. Then what about these electrons? Will they able to move freely in this conductor? No. So there will be a situation where these electrons may get collided with this positively charged. So when they get collided, they may get stopped. Okay, they may get stopped at one place, because see here, when two people get collided, they sit at one place. Can they run now? Can they walk now? No. After collision, they cannot walk or run until someone comes and helps. Until it don't come and help, they will not be able to walk. Similarly here also, electrons also, until you don't provide them some energy again, they will not move towards forward direction. Similarly here, when the electrons get collided with the positively charged, they come to stop at one place, so halt at one place. Now due to this electric field present, or the continuous flow of the current here, this electric field again provides energy to these electrons. Okay, so when electric field provides energy to these electrons, this electron again gains energy and again it will start moving. I hope you understood this part of the explanation, students. Now, moving on to the next part here, what is potential difference? How does a battery maintain constant potential difference? Or what is the meaning of this potential difference here, students? Okay, so let me explain you this part now. Listen here, students. So, potential difference, I can explain you, students. If I take a conductor here, so this conductor, if I connect again a battery or cell here to a conductor, what will happen? There will be obviously electric field generated across the conductor. This electric field will make the electrons to move in the one single direction, right? This will be able to move, make the electrons to move in the one single direction, right? Now, when the electrons are moving in the one single direction, that means you need to provide some energy, right? Now this electric field generates one more kind of term here, that is called as force. See, electrons will not move automatically. We need to provide some force. This force, let me say it as electric force. What do you call it as? Electric force. Okay. So this electric force need to do some work from here, this point to this point. Okay. Let me take point A to point B. Let me take the length of the conductor as L. Right. So now this force need to do some work to move these electrons from point A to point B. Okay, so that means the work done by the electric force to move the electrons from point A to point B, right? So the work done to move the electrons from point A to point B is given as W by Q. Right? Okay. Now students here, what is W here? Work done. Now if you are ready 9th class students, work done is equal to force into displacement. Right? So here what is the force here? My force here, Fe into displacement is length of this conductor, is given as L here. Right? Okay. That means I can write down here Fe into L by Q. Clear? Okay. So this Fe into L by Q is given as potential difference. So that is, this kind of term is called as potential difference, which is given as V. It is given as V. So V is equal to work done by Q. That is given as work done by charge. Q means the charge. That is a charge on a electron. Right? So what is about the unit here, students? So work done unit is joules. And what is the unit of charge here is coulombs. Okay, joules and coulombs. So finally, joules per coulomb, 1 volt I can write down as 1 joule per 1 coulomb. So it can be written as volts. So the unit of potential difference is written as volts. Okay. or joules per coulomb. Either you can write down joule per coulomb or volts. Fine. Now students, our next question was, how does a battery maintain constant potential difference? Constant potential difference. How it is? Okay. Now look here students, let us learn about this battery now, what this battery contains. Okay. So now let me draw this battery here students. Let me take here, battery contains two plates here. Okay. So here there will be obviously electrolyte, what we call it as electrolyte, that means a liquid which we call it as electrolyte, chemical liquid here. So this liquid obviously contains ions, that is positive ions and negative ions, right? So these positive ions and negative ions starts moving with the effect of or impact of chemical force now. Okay, they move in the direction with the impact of chemical force. Okay, so this chemical force will make these electrons to move in one particular direction, that is in the opposite direction of this electroplate or this plate here. Okay, that means, let me say here, negatively charged come and sit in one place and positively charged come and sit at another place. Okay, so in this way. So in this way, negative charge come at one of the plate and positive charge come at the another part because of this chemical force. Okay students. Now this chemical force is applying force on these ions, which makes the ions to move in the on these plates, respective plate, that is negative and positive plates. Okay, so this, after this coming to this positive plate here, this plate is called as anode and this plate will be called as cathode. This side is called as cathode. Okay, so this is called as anode and cathode. Now students, here what is happening here when I connect it to the conductor here? So when I connect to the conductor here, you know that there will be an electric field. So due to this electric field, there will be one more force called electric force. Okay, so now already there is a chemical force, now there is one more force called electric force. Okay, now on a charge there will be two force acting, that is chemical force. Let me write this force as Fe and this force as Fc. Now there will be two forces, Fc and Fe, and these two forces will be always opposite to each other. Fc and Fe will be always opposite to each other, and this force will be acting on the each and every ions until the ions go and get stick on these plates. Okay, so once these ions go to their respective plates, both the force becomes balanced. That means when both the force are balanced, only then they have the constant potential difference. Only then we can say they have the constant potential difference. Once this one of the electrons gets out from this battery, chemical force will be more than the electric force. Okay, again this chemical force makes the negative charge, let us say here negative charge move away and positive charge came here, so the chemical force and electric force gets imbalanced here. So this chemical force will make the positive charge to come to this positively charged plate only, from negative charge here to positive charge, right? So then once they get balanced only, we can say they are having the constant potential difference, and this constant potential difference will be always be maintained across the battery in this way, right? Now I already told you that when I connect to the battery also, conductor also, what will happen. So when I connect to the conductor also, what will happen? This charges starts flowing throughout the conductors, this electron starts flowing throughout the conductors, and positive charge will come and stick to this plate. Okay, so once this positive charge comes and stick to this plate here, let me explain here students. So let me say that here positively charged came and stick has been accumulated here, since it is a negatively charged, but here positive charge came and accumulated here, and this is my anode side here, and here negatively charges are being accumulating here slowly. Okay, now this chemical force, what he'll do is he will take this positive charge and it will move towards its plate. Okay, so it will move this positive charge towards its plate, right? So until this positive charge don't goes and sits at its own plate, this will be imbalanced force. The force will be always imbalanced. That means chemical force will not be equal to the electric force, right? Then now fine, this all of you understood here. Now chemical force is doing some, one more term is going to be explained here students. Chemical force is doing some work to bring this positive charge from negative plate to the positive plate. So this work done is called as EMF. We call this one as EMF, that is electromotive force. So once again students, the work done to bring the positive charge from the negative plate to the positive plate, we call this force as EMF, that is electromotive force. Okay, we call this as EMF, electromotive force. Students, here electromotive force is also called as potential voltage here. So voltage is also denoted by V here, and it is also given as W by Q only. Okay students, now what we understood here, now students, you may get confused that what is potential difference and what is EMF. Then students, potential difference is seen across the conductor when we are moving an electron from one point to the another point, right? It can be of lower potential to the higher potential. Okay, now what is EMF is, it is be moving across the battery. This is a battery here, okay, where we are moving the positive charge from the negative plate to the positive plate. Now here students, our next important topic is Ohm's law. Okay, so what is this Ohm's law? Now we need to understand this very carefully students. It's very much important. I can say you put a star mark, write down, very important. This Ohm's law concept is very important students. Okay, let us understand what is this Ohm's law. See here students, the scientist George Ohms, what he said is, he was from the German. He said that whenever the potential difference is applied across the conductor, the current flowing through it will be directly proportional to the potential difference. Okay, across the conductor, that means the current flowing through it will be directly proportional. Fine. So now how does this concept of potential difference directly proportional to the current is proportional here? We need to understand here students. Okay, to understand this concept of potential difference directly proportional to the current, we need to do an experiment here students. To understand and to do this experiment, we need to take an iron spoke. The materials required are iron spoke, voltmeter, ammeter, 1.5 volt battery, key, right, and some copper wires. So this Ohm's law, he did this experiment in a constant temperature only. That means he kept the temperature constant throughout his experiment. He did in a room where the temperature was completely constant. Okay, and then he was able to prove this experiment that potential difference should be directly proportional to the current flowing through the conductor. Right, now we know that voltmeter is a device which measures the voltage across the conductor or across the device where it is connected, right? Ammeter is an instrument where it measures the current. Voltmeter is an instrument where it measures the voltage, and ammeter is an instrument where it measures the current, right? Now when I switch on this key, when I put the key here, the current starts flowing here. Yes, so when the current starts flowing here, there will be measurement of current in this ammeter. Now if we need to draw a table here students, that is VI and V by I here. Now first I have taken 1.5 volt battery here. I got, let us say, current as 1.5 volt. Now when I divide this 1.5 by 1.5, I'll get as 1. We need to get this constant throughout all the values. Let us see here. Now we should increase this as again 1.5 volt, again increase it as 1.5 volt, keep on repeating this experiment again. So when I increase this as 1.5 volt, the total voltage will become as 3 volt, right? So it will become as 3 volt now. So again this 3 volt, let us say that I am getting the current here as again 3 ampere current. So the students current I is measured in amperes. Okay, just keep in mind, I think I didn't tell you here. So when I again divide this 3 by 3, that is V by I, am getting the ratio as 1 here. That means I will be getting the ratio as 1 throughout my experiment. 4.5, 6 volt, 7.5. I will be getting the answer as 1 volt, 1 as my answer. We have to get the constant value students. We will be getting the constant value of this one here in this experiment. Okay. So this is the graph you need to draw it students. That is here voltage, that is potential difference, current, and V by I ratio. Okay, I'll be telling you this, what is this V by I ratio here. See here now. Now students here, what we got here students, now keep on increasing 1.5, 1.5, you will be getting this all values. Fine, you understood till here students? Fine. Now what he said here, all of you students, he has taken these values and drawn a graph here. Okay. So when he has drawn a graph here, he got, obviously he will get a linear graph here. That is, if I take V and I here, on the graph paper he got the linear graph, a linear line. right? Now what changes he had made is, when he took a LED here, instead of iron spoke, instead of a conductor, he has taken a LED. Okay, just replace this by a LED here. So when you replace it by a LED here, there was not a linear graph absorbed by this ohms. Okay, there was some kind of non-linear graph absorbed by in this experiment. Okay, so now he categorized into two types here. One is the devices which show me the linear graphs, they are called as ohmic devices. One is the devices which show me this kind of non-linear graph, we don't obey the Ohm's law, they are called as non-ohmic devices. Okay, non-ohmic devices. So here my non-ohmic device, what it is? LED, right? My non-ohmic device is LED, right? Now let us talk about this constant. What is V by I? Now according to Ohm's law, what I understood here is V is proportional to I. When I remove this proportionality, we get V by I is equal to some kind of constant. Let me write it here. V is equal to I into some constant K into I. Now this K constant is nothing but R. So it is written as R. Okay. So R into I here. I will be telling you what is R here. The R is called as resistance. That is called as resistance. R is nothing but here resistance. So what is resistance here is, resistance will do the work of stop the flow of current. It will stop the flow of current. Again there is a confusion here. Why this new term came here and why it is stopping the flow of current here, students? There is again a question here. So the students, here every conductor will have a kind of a resistance here which will always make the electrons to stop flowing it. Okay, or it will always make the current to stop or to halt or to oppose the flow of current. So that means it will obviously waste the energy there, right? So that means our resistance should be always less in a conductor or any device. The device should have less resistance. That means our energy should not be wasted and current should be continuously flowing. This should take care of it, students. Okay, so the resistance should be, but every device will have resistance, but it should be always less. Like copper wire, it has less resistance. Aluminium, it has it is a good resistive device it is, but it is little bit costly, aluminium wires. Okay, so fine. So this all we understood here, what is resistance. And there is a device, one more thing I can say you students, this device will be having some color codes. This is called as resistor. So this is called as resistor. Resistor is a device which will act as resistance to stop the flow of current. Okay, moving on to next question here, students. Factors affecting resistance. So now this resistance will have some factors which will be affected here by it. Session will go lengthy, students. Please have patience and listen to the session. Now the factors affecting resistance are, just I'll tell you in short here, students, because already I have made video on these factors. Just you can go through it on the video. First of all, it is the nature of the material. Already I told you different materials will have different kind of resistance. So the materials will have less resistance, which will be good for us to flow of current, because I need to allow the current to flow properly throughout the circuit. Then only my circuit will be running accurately. And if I connect a bulb here, the bulb is not glowing properly, or it is taking some time to glow, so it is of no use, no, students. So that means this material should have less resistance. Okay, material should have less resistance. Fine. So resistance depends on the nature of material. Second point, it depends on the length of the conductor. Third point, it depends on temperature. Length means it depends on length here, directly proportional. More is the length, more is the resistance. Less is the length, less is the resistance. Okay, it depends on temperature. What can I say about temperature, students? Take again a bulb only. First of all, without connecting this bulb to a battery, take a here multimeter, students. Take a multimeter here, students, and take the value of resistance. Okay, multimeter is a device which gives the value of R, V and I, all the values it can give it to your students. So take a multimeter and find the resistance value of this bulb. Okay, now connect this bulb. connect this bulb to a battery here, students. When I connect this bulb to a battery here, students, then slowly we know that it contains this tungsten wire here. This tungsten gets heated. When this tungsten gets heated, it emits light here, students. So when it emits here light here, students, that means this tungsten is getting heated. Now you take a multimeter and check its resistance. You will see that resistance will get increased as compared to the open one. That means without connecting the battery. And here, so there will be a lot of difference in the resistance values here and here. Okay, students. That means I can say here resistance is directly proportional to the temperature. So more is the resistance, more is the temperature. So how I got this resistance here, students? I got this resistance here because of the more heat here. Okay, in the material. Now the fourth factor where it depends on it is the area of cross section of a wire. So area of cross section, area of the wire. So if the wire, see what is cross section? This part. If the wire is having more cross section, the resistance will be less. It is inversely proportional here, students. Okay. R is inversely proportional to the area of cross section. Less is the area, more is the resistance, more is the less is the resistance, more is the area of cross sections. Okay, you can understand like this, students. If the area is more, that means more electrons can enter. So if more electrons can enter into the conductor, then there will be more current flowing, right? So when there is more current flowing, the resistance value will always obviously will be decreased, right? Now here, students, you need to take two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. If I equate this equation 1 and 2, R will be, first of all, it is proportional to the L here divided by A. A will come here, right? So if I remove this proportionality, I am going to get another constant here. This constant is called as resistivity. What we call it as resistivity. Okay, students. Now our next concept, resistivity, will be having different values for the different materials. Fine, these resistivity values are mentioned in your textbook. Please go through this. Now our next topic is series and parallel circuit. Series and parallel circuit also I explained you one of the video here, students. Please go through it, the video. Series and parallel circuit, students. Go through the video of series and parallel circuit. Next topic is on power in this lesson. So power means I can see here the power is nothing but rate of doing work. Rate of doing some work is called power. Now what is the rate of doing work here, students? So let us say that you ate some food here, lunch here. Now after eating lunch, you start working properly. Until and unless you are able to work, you are having some energy, you are able to work properly. Once your energy gets destroyed, finished, you say that my power has gone, now I cannot work now. Same is this here also. The rate of doing work is nothing but the power. So that means I can say it as W by T here. Now from the potential difference, what I got power work done here, W is equal to, so I got from potential difference V equal to W by Q. If you remember the definition of potential difference, so what I can write, W equal to V into Q here. So can I replace here? So V into capital Q, let me write it as T by power. Now students, this Q by T is nothing but the current here, students. Okay, that is charge per unit time, or charge flowing in 1 second is nothing but the current. Charge flowing in 1 second is called as current. So we can write down P is equal to V into I. V into I. So power is given as V into I. By this derivation, by this equation only, I can prove so many equations here. P equal to V into I, you can use Ohm's law. V is equal to I into R. So you can write down I into R into again I into I is equal to I square. So I can write down I square into R also. So power has one more unit, that is I square into R. So there are two equations of power here, V into I and I square into R. So students, there is one more concept of overloading. So last topic it is overloading concept here. So what is overloading concept here, students? Very simple way I will explain you here. So here let us say that I have connected so many devices. See, in my household all the devices will be connected in parallel. Okay, so let me say that in my power supply in my house there is a 230 volt and 0 to 20 amps of current is being flown in my house. Okay, is flowing in my house. Now let us say that these devices, I have connected one more extra device which is making the more than 20 amps current to be drawn. That means it is taking more than 20 amps current. Already connected two devices. I have switched on the three devices here. So these three devices has taken 20 amperes of current. Okay. Now I connected fourth device here, and this fourth device will try to take more amount of power or current from this supply. Okay. So as soon as it will try to take more than this 20 ampere, there will be heating process going on in these devices, and this device may get burned and it may cause fire. Okay, so to avoid this, we need to connect a fuse here, a small copper wire, it is fuse here. This fuse, once you have exceeded 20 amperes, more than 20 amperes, this fuse will get heated up first. It will get heated up first and it will get broken away. It will get broken away and the circuit will become open circuit. So when the circuit becomes open circuit, then no current can flow through our devices and my device gets protected. In this way we can protect the devices with the help of a small fuse wire. Okay, fine. So we can protect this connecting more than 3 or 4 or more than required devices is called as overloading, and to protect overloading we use a fuse wire. Okay students, so this was the complete lesson of the electric current lesson. I have made already videos on series and parallel which are left here topic students, and factors affecting also. Please go and watch the video. If you still have doubt on this lesson, please comment me. I will be surely clearing all your doubts. Thank you students. Thank you for watching, and please like, share and subscribe.